Oh, hi there. Fancy a bit of Nintendo TV news? This week we're getting down with the cast of brand new quest adventure comedy thing, Your Highness. And we've got a sneak preview of our huge interview with the makers of upcoming sci-fi shooter Conduit 2. Since the dawn of time, man has loved a bit of a quest. Whether it be a quest for the hand of a fair maiden, or gathering the strength to quest to Tesco for a bacon sandwich on a Sunday morning. This week we learnt more about the first one from Hollywood funny guy Danny McBride. He told us all about his brand new questy film Your Highness, which is out now.
Your Highness is an homage to all the sword and sorcery films of the early 80s, late 70s. Everything from Conan the Barbarian, Beastmaster, Kroll, Dragon Slayer, even things like Dark Crystal. You know, very much in the way that like Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg and Nick Frost paid homage to zombie films. That's kind of what we were trying to do with Your Highness. You know, not make a spoof of fantasy films, but just make one of those films with a sort of a modern comedic twist to it.
Quests in video games have existed pretty much since video games themselves, so did any of these inspire Your Highness?
I mean, I was a massive fan of like everything from like Zelda to, you know, those Final Fantasy games. I played all that stuff growing up, and you know, with all those games, those tend to follow the sort of myth structure, and that's definitely what we were kind of in line with in this film.
As is customary, whenever we get anyone remotely famous in the hot seat, we gave Mr. McBride a bit of a challenge. This time, Nintendo TV's Gav Murphy laid down the gauntlet to a game of Super Street Fighter IV 3D Edition. Here's how they got on.
Oh, M. Bison, he's on here, huh? How about that? Are you ready? Boom. Oh, that's what she did. There we go. Damn. You took me down. You got me distracted talking about Kenny Powers. Look at that, man. 3D. That's pretty nuts, huh?
Yeah. Well, that's another win for Gav. His tally of beating celebrities at games stands at a modestly inspiring 3-0. Who will be next? Next week sees the release of awesome sci-fi alien shooter blast 'em up, Conduit 2. To celebrate this, we've got a massive interview with the developers coming your way next week. But to wet your whistle, here's a sneak preview of what you can expect. We cornered developer Matt Corso to see if we could squeeze out any info on the possibility of seeing a Conduit game on the 3DS.
We're playing with 3DS right now, and you know, 3DS is pretty awesome. Folks should definitely look forward to it. It's really neat hardware, it's surprisingly powerful, and the 3D actually really works. And I think there's going to be a lot that we're going to see coming out of the 3DS that's going to be new, fresh, unique. It's going to be very different than anything we've ever seen before. And I think once people actually have a chance to play around with this thing, it's going to be the next big thing in games.
You can see more from that interview in next week's episode, as well as some exclusive footage from Nintendo TV's adventure at the Kapow Comic Con. It's all exclusively live on your Wii's Nintendo channel next week.